Hello, today I'm joined by Nick from Mindflair to discuss the company's strong full year 2024 results, portfolio strategy, and how they plan to unlock value for shareholders. Good morning to you, Nick.
Yeah, good morning.
Well, there's a bit of an elephant in the room with Mindflair, isn't there? There's a massive discount to the NAV. What's being done to close the gap and, better reflect
Yeah,
the company's value?
I mean, this is obviously one of the issues with often an investment company is the sort of discount to NAV, and often that's because people are not sure whether the NAV is realistic or not. But what we're sort of trying to demonstrate to people, and I think we've definitely done with the Get Visibility disposal, is that often we're ending up selling businesses at a premium to the NAV. So in a way, there's almost like a double discount. So with Get Visibility, that was being carried at one figure, and we made a significantly higher return when we finally sold it. So we're really just trying to explain to people that that's the nature of the beast, and
Yeah,
that we should be trading at this level.
I'm glad you mentioned the get visibility one because obviously that delivers some strong returns for you. How will you be using that cash, and are there more exits like this to be expected soon?
Um, yeah, so we um, we use some of the cash obviously to pay down the loan note that we'd taken out a couple of years ago, and then you'll see that we've been very active in the sort of the second fund, the second Shore Value Ventures fund, which is very much the AI focused fund. We've done something like 9 investments in that fund over the last sort of 12 months or so. So the funds from Get Visibility will enable us to continue that strategy, and because obviously that's a very exciting area at the moment.
Well, yeah, indeed. And that's one thing I wanted to talk to you about was, and if you could talk us through the advantages, I suppose, of increasing your stake in Shore Valley, and how does that affect your sort of access then, I suppose, to these?
Yeah. So I guess what so Shore Ventures PLC, its principal asset is a 25% interest in the first Shore Value Ventures fund. And why that's attractive is that's the fund where, for example, Get Visibility was sitting. It's the sort of oldest fund, and it's the one that is it's not making any new investments. It's really just focused on realizations of what it's got in the portfolio. So we took advantage of, again, Shore Ventures trades at a discount to NAV. So putting some more money in there, increasing our shareholding, enables us to quite cleverly get a bigger exposure to that first fund that is looking to realise its investment. So we'll be expecting some more companies to be sold, like we've just done with Get Visibility.
Hmm. Well, we're talking there about some of the valuations. I mean, you've got Infinite Reality now valued at some sort of 12 billion US dollars. How does that impact Mindflayer's portfolio? And is there a plan to realize value from that investment?
So Infinite Reality, that has obviously gone up quite significantly in value from when when we first got involved with it, which was really middle of last year, I think now. And Infinite Reality was valued about 5 billion. It's now up at 12. It might even technically be sort of higher than that. So that's obviously factored into the valuation of the holding in the fund. Although that's obviously done in a very sort of conservative sort of way, because the way that the NAV and the funds is calculated is it's very strict rules and regulations as to how that's done. So it's conservatively valued, I would say, within the portfolio at the moment.
Okay. And what types of AI companies are you most excited about right now? I mean, and how are you positioning the portfolio to benefit from these sort of emerging trends that we're seeing,
Yeah,
certainly in AI anyway?
yeah. I think the main sort of focus of the Shore Valley Ventures Fund is really on situations where sort of AI can solve a sort of a very specific problem. There's a use for it rather than just sort of doing anything in the AI, you know, field, for example. So, one of the businesses we invested in the other day is a business that helps. teachers marking homework, for example, marking exam results, and it just makes that more efficient. We know how hard teachers work these days, and anything that can sort of reduce the workload a little makes a lot of sense. So it's that sort of focus really. Anything where there is a specific task or issue or problem that you want to solve or make more efficient, that's the sort of the basis of the focus on investment.
Oh, that's interesting. And do you see that sort of being a growing thing in the AI field, sort of very specific companies
Yeah,
developing?
yeah, no, I think so. That I mean, that's the sort of that's obviously the team at Shaw Valley look at a lot of opportunities, but that's the main sort of focus. So they're sort of agnostic across the space, as it were, but it's almost about the criteria of investment. So is there a problem or an issue to be solved where you can make a commercial return by solving it? That's the focus, and we're going to continue doing that. And I mean the nice thing with Mindflair is that for the retail investor, it's a really interesting opportunity to get this exposure to these companies that would almost all be sort of private equity type financed businesses that a public market investor would never normally get exposure to.
Oh, indeed, yeah, and that's what really excites me about the opportunity giving, sort of private investors and retail this opening into a world that you wouldn't normally get an opportunity to invest in. What's sort of exciting you most then about the sort of next 6 months? I mean, we're halfway through 2025, believe it or not. So,
No,
what are
no.
you most
Um,
excited for?
I think what's exciting is obviously continuing to work on realizations from the first fund, and I believe there'll be some more of those coming along in the not too distant future, and then it's just really increasing our focus as we have been to this very exciting AI focused sector, which isn't going away anytime soon.
No. Well, Nick, thanks you very much for the update. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure investors will be watching closely as Mindflair aims to sort of build on its momentum that we've seen over the last sort of 12 months and close this gap between the share price and the NAV.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick.